so excited.
All right, I'll just do a quick introduction just to make it formal. This is Tara. Tara and I had met a couple of months ago in Tareva's meetup actually on Maui. So she flew over. That was the first time we'd ever met. We're here in the Big Island, so what better way to connect than to reach out to people that we reached out to in the past.
Absolutely.
Cool. So I'm so glad that you were able to meet with me, Tara, today, just to have some coffee and to talk stories. But we'll go right into it. Like, what do you do? Even for me, because we barely know each other. We've only known each other through social media.
Right.
What do you do here on the Big Island?
Absolutely nothing. Nah, just kidding. I just have fun. Drink coffee with my friends.
Me too.
Just kidding. I am a realtor here with eXp Realty, and I'm a real estate investor. I'm a mom of two. I have an amazing other half, and we're just trying to live the dream, just trying to do what we can to help families here, get some real estate going, create some wealth in their lives, so we've done it ourselves. So my mission is just to help other people, and being a realtor, because a lot of people can't afford to buy right now, I love to just help them be able to rent a home for now until they can get to that point.
But you're doing something really neat, and we were talking about it earlier. Is that there's a part here in the Big Island where you're building homes, right? You're not living there, but you're building it, and that's how you're securing your place here on the Big Island. What do you exactly tell us what you're doing there?
So I just finished a brand new build. We're gonna start another one. My original intent was to build the home and just sell it. And then about halfway through, I was like, you know what? I don't want to sell this house. I regret selling the 2 or 3 that I did already. And so I decided to keep it and rent it. And then about 3/4 of the way through, I was like, I don't want to rent this brand new home. Like, I don't even live in a brand new home. So I decided to keep it and put my in-laws in there, and then we could rent their house or whatever. And so to me, I mean, being able to help our families to be able to live in a home for a long time without having any maintenance is huge. And then I just decided, you know what, we should build another one as a rental, and maybe every other year just do one rental and maybe a new build. So my thought was to build a brand new home every single year, because we're so behind on the 8 ball for building homes in our communities for families, right? And it's so hard for people to buy a 30, 40-year-old home for $1 million.
Yeah.
When if I can provide a good product, a solid brand new home for families all day long, whether it is for rental or to sell if they can afford it, great. That's my goal. We try to keep our rentals just a little under market value so that people can afford it. They stay for a long time. And then the ones that can buy, I also want to provide a nice product for them to buy if it's the time for them. So I try to do a lot of educational meetups, or events to show people that you can buy a home even in this market.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people have to live in other towns or cities that they don't want to. But if you can start there, start small, then you can build up and buy something better.
And you're a realtor, so you see the mix of buyers that are coming in onto the Big Island, and a large mix of that is non-local people. But it's because we can't compete with the prices that other buyers are offering. So I think it's important that we need to be competitive and band together as a local community, stick to each other, and partner. So just like yesterday, we mentioned it with Fuzzy and Keone.
Yeah.
It's so cool to just see them come together and take somebody under their wing and build this product, an affordable product for a local family. So that's neat. And so I guess let's just go into education, some of the things. What got you into this? What programs are you in, and the value that you're seeing?
So back in 2020, when COVID happened, I was just chilling at home, and I was scrolling on Instagram and Facebook, and I saw a ad for the real estate school to get my real estate license. So I decided, why not do that? When I start selling off some of my homes, I could keep the commission. So So I got my real estate license, but at the same time, my good friends, Ikwa and Ikaika Diaz, called me and they're like, hey, Tara, you got to check out this mentorship. Subject to it, pays Morby. It's next level. And I was like, okay, I'm all hands in. Like, I didn't even go and research it. I was like, whatever you do, I'm doing. So I took that mentorship, and that's where I met a whole bunch of people that we all collaborate with, right? Terema, Zasha, Kamahai, Tristan, Keone, I mean, Daniel, all the people that we kind of know from social media. And I really feel that collaboration is the new currency, because when you can get around like-minded people who are doing what you're doing, investing, helping rehab these amazing properties to life, giving people the chance to stay in Hawaii and be able to afford a home here, it's just next level, you know. And I feel like there's not a lot of people doing it, so to be able to be a part of that was super special. I did that at the same time of getting my real estate license, and once I got licensed, all of my friends and family, they were like, Tara, I need you to help me buy and sell my home. So I said, okay, no problem. So I kind of went down that path of helping other people buy and sell, and I didn't really do too much investing. I mean, I did my own. We did a tiny home. We built a brand new home. We're doing another new construction. But to me, being in these mentorships are huge, right? Like we met at Maui, in Maui for Tereva's meetup, and it's so amazing how like we still stayed connected through social media, even though we're on different islands, we still do different things, and we both are investing in out of state, and so it's so good to have people that we can bounce ideas back and forth. We can call, like share our stories, and we get it. Like we go and grow through the same thing. So that's awesome.
And mentorships, regardless of what the cost is, you could put $20,000, $30,000 into a mentorship, and I think at the beginning it's hard for people to even come up with that money or think that the value of it. You don't realize it until you're actually in it, and it opens up the doors for all these people in your community that are going through the same thing. When I joined one of the mentorships, I wasn't comfortable going out of state just because I didn't know. I had no boots on the ground. And even if the content was something I already knew, it opened up a whole lot more for me, so I could get 4, 5, 6 properties all in the same year. It made it much more faster. So it's not, don't think about the cost of a mentorship. Think about the value that it provides you.
100%. And I think that's where people get caught up is they look at the initial investment, but they don't see the return. And these relationships that we form, they're priceless, right? Priceless. To be able to be in a circle where you can call anybody at any given time, like, hey, I have this situation, what do we do? And that's where the mentorship program, like, I would pay that 10 times over. And it's just a one-time investment, but you create these lifelong relationships that so much value in just being in those type of rooms. You can't put a price tag on it. And what I've learned and what we grew through together, I mean, hands down, it's priceless. I don't know why anybody doesn't pay for that, because to me, it's like, that was like my college, I didn't go to college, I didn't pay a ton of money to go to college, but to me, these mentorships are part of that, and part of the education, where that education made me more money than anything else, you know?
And then the cool thing with that too is, locally you have these groups that are in the same mentorships, but it's those local people that stick together, and their values are all the same. So when we went to the meetup yesterday with Fuzzy, their whys, you were talking about their whys, and that's why they all gravitate towards each other, is because their whys are very, very similar. It's because they want to be able to stay here. They want to be able to live here and have their keiki, have a place to call home and not be priced out of paradise.
100%. And if we don't do that, who will, right? Like, who's going to take a stand to make stuff happen, to build these homes, to put people, local families in these homes? And I think that's a huge deal. We don't talk about that enough. We're just grinding and we're just working, and I really value the work ethic that everybody has for that why, that same reason for us to help our families stay here, to raise our kids here in the community that they grew up in, because that's the sad thing, is that a lot of people have to move off island to the mainland. And it's so hard for them to come back after they've moved and then, experience a cheaper way of living, and then to come back here where it just gets so much more expensive every single year with everything, inflation, all the things. But if you have a piece of property, you have something that you could help build your wealth and create some type of, whether it's cash flow or equity. We don't talk about that enough, and I think that's why I'm so passionate. I put on these free events. I should be charging for them. But I think it's important for people to know that you can buy a house, you can build a house, you can make a difference. It starts with you. And for us being the example for many people, I think that's huge. People are like, wow, you're investing in Kansas and you have 6-7 properties. Like, that's so huge. It opens up people's mindset to what is possible when you share your story. So.
Yep. The other thing too is, money is always going to be an issue. Money is always going to be an issue, but if you have the passion and the drive enough to pursue it, all of that will come. And again, going back to the value of mentorships, Ryan Pineda has 30,000 people at any given time, in his network, that you have access to all of that and to partner with people who have the funds, because you can bring value into it. And same again with yesterday, partnering with a whole bunch of local people to get deals done for the right reason. And that's the reason why they invest, is because they all share the same why.
Yes.
But I appreciate you sitting here with me today and having coffee. But this is more of a talk story just for people to get to know you. And I'm on spring break with the kids, and they dislike me for probably running away and doing a podcast. But
where's mom?
I'm building your future, kids.
100%. And I think the biggest thing is that you're doing this for the next generations to come. You're setting up your legacy. You and Daryl work really, really hard. And it's not easy being a real estate investor. Like, people see the glamorous things on Instagram, YouTube, but really it takes blood, sweat, and tears. And it takes a lot of faith, right? It takes a lot of prayer. A lot of the times we're praying through the hardest of times, right? And sometimes we just want to cry and, throw myself on the ground, kick and scream, everything, but we get through it, right? Through prayer, through faith, and I love that you get to connect with so many different people. You flew over here, you went to the meetup yesterday, and you're putting yourself out there, you're in different mentorships. That's what it takes. It really does take the sacrifice. It's spring break right now, if you can tell. There's a million kids in this coffee shop. Our kids are not here. We ran away to get together to talk a little bit about real estate, but we're building up their future, and they don't even realize it, but they will do what you do, right? So you're leading by example, and your kids will absolutely thank you for this one day, because you're setting that foundation for them. So don't ever feel bad about that, because I know we get this mom guilt and like entrepreneur guilt, and like we're getting pulled in so many different directions. But just live in the moment, so grateful that we got to connect today, and I can't wait to do a deal with you guys. We should
one
do
day,
something
soon, very soon, very soon.
Yeah,
we'll be here. I actually love this, just being like on the Big Island, because it just feels like being home, but you're not there. I woke up this morning and I thought I was in the mainland somewhere for some reason, but I love it here. It's nice, it's beautiful. I get to see how different it has changed in the past 10, 15 years since I've been here.
It's so crazy, and it's just gonna get more crazy because everybody wants to live here, and the Big Island is kind of like the last frontier of the islands, because everywhere else is just so overpriced, overbuilt, so thank goodness Hawaii is just super special. Big Island is very special. So I'm super grateful to live here, grow up here, and be able to help my community, build homes for people, buy and sell, all the things related to real estate. It's just such a joy and such a pleasure to be doing what we absolutely love every single day.
Yep. And Big Island still has a lot of cultural, it has a lot of culture still here, And one of the things that I noticed yesterday, just driving through, it was a long drive. I should have made it a whole day trip, but I loved it. Just driving through, getting to the dry parts. You get up there, you literally see that line of where the clouds start to form.
Yes.
And it's so much more wetter on that side too. But you have all these pockets. They're so varied in prices. You come to Kona, it's $1 million. You go over on that side, you can buy a piece of land for $70,000, $150,000. And I think that's where a lot of the investors are flocking to, is because it is the last frontier. That's the last affordable pieces of land and real estate in the entire state of Hawaii. But it's going to grow. And
Right.
we mentioned it earlier. If you don't buy now, in hindsight, you're going to think, oh my God, I should have bought then.
We always think it's expensive when you buy it, and then like 6 months later, you're like, thank God I bought at that time, right? Or even a year, 2, 10 years back, you know, especially like the old timers who bought 30 years ago and they still have their property today and it's worth $1 million and they bought it for 100-something thousand. You know, like imagine us in 30 years from today.
Yeah.
What are homes going to be? If they're $1 million here in Kona, what is it going to be in 30 years? What is it going to be in 5 years? You know, like it's such a great investment because of the appreciation,
Yeah.
the depreciation, the cash flow, the tax benefits. I mean, I can't stress enough how real estate is such a great vehicle to create wealth. So.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. The kids don't realize that just yet,
Right.
but you know,
They
it's
will.
leading by example, and one day they will. So,
For sure.
my son refuses to go anywhere else. I've asked him about college. They're at that age, right? My daughter wants to go to Oregon, and I asked my son the same thing. It's like, hey, what do you want to do? It's like, no, I'm just gonna stay here and I'm gonna fish.
Yeah, which is okay too, right?
Part of that is
Because
having a place to live,
totally,
you know?
and a place to fish, right? What better place here? So that's great. I mean, and I know for sure, like your kids have a solid foundation just watching what you guys do, and because of that, you know, and we didn't know what we wanted to do when we were 16 years old either.
Have
I
fun.
still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, but that's okay.
Me too. Me too.
I just want to travel. I just want to invest in real estate and travel and just live a good life, which we get to. We get to have breakfast. I get to hang out with my friends all the time,
Yep.
you know, because of the life that we've created through real estate. It's not easy all the time, but it's hands down worth it. And if you're looking to invest or anything, call up my girl Joyce or myself, and we'll be more than happy to help you if you have any questions about real estate investing, because it is kind of crazy sometimes, right? Like, is it always rainbows and
Not always. No. I just got a call this morning from my project manager in Kansas City. He's like, hey, did you do a sewer inspection on this house? I said, I think so. Well, this is going to cost you because this is, it's things like that that comes up unexpectedly. But no, it's not always unicorns and rainbows, you know?
And that's something that you have to be okay with pivoting. You have to be okay with figuring things out when it comes to real estate investing, because when you get those phone calls like, oh, it's going to cost so much more, or are you sitting down and we have
Yep.
this
Yeah.
problem,
Yeah.
you have to have boots on the ground. You have to have people that are on your team that you can call on to help you get through these types of
Yeah,
situations.
agree.
And so, but that's where you learn. That's where you learn and grow. So the next time this comes up, I won't do that again. Or I've learned from that mistake, you
Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
that's all part of it. It's all part of learning and growing. So I'm super proud of you guys. How many properties do you guys have total?
In Kansas City, I think there's 4 that we already have, and then 2 locked in, and then working on 1 on Maui. Hoping to close that mid-April, and then the other 2 we're hoping to rebuild when Lahaina is ready to go, right? So that's another unfortunate thing, is because of the situation in Lahaina on Maui, it's going to drive prices alone. It's going to drive it so high up that $1 million isn't going to be enough to live in Lahaina.
Isn't that crazy?
Very.
Like $1 million is not going to be enough to buy or build a house in Lahaina, and that it saddens me, it scares me at the same time. But that's where, guys, opportunity lies. If you don't have $1 million, how can you get $1 million? How
Yes.
can you
Yes.
be able to build and rebuild, you know, in Lahaina or Maui or any island for that matter? How can you do it? You know, don't let that $1 million scare you, because at the end of the day, it's just money. It's just paper.
It is, and you'll find a way. I think if you're driven enough, like I said, you will find a way. Find
sure.
partners, get yourself out there, network, fly to the Big Island,
Yes.
fly to Oahu.
Come see me anytime.
Fly wherever you can go to meet people. So,
Yes.
nice. I think that's a good chat.
Yes.
Thanks for having me
course.
here. This is such a great recommendation.
Sorry, it's spring break. I didn't realize it was going to be so packed.
Coffee, it doesn't change the taste of the coffee, so all good.
I love it.
Yeah.
So nice to talk to you today.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you guys.
Aloha.